that'll take us on to Birds of Prey Manhunt issue 1. Chuck Dixon writing with Matt Haley on the art. So again, we're not into the ongoing yet. If you're reading the first big Birds of Prey trade, this is the 3rd issue in there. So it's a 4-issue miniseries, so at least the numbering's easy to remember for the next few. This is a story that has Dinah there, of course, with the Oracle in her ear, as before, but we do get Huntress, as well as Catwoman in this story. So while Huntress wasn't a permanent member of the Birds of Prey till much later, I don't even know if it happens in Dixon's run. That may be a Gail Simone thing, or in between. There's like a small gap in between, because Dixon writes Birds of Prey to issue 46, I think, and then Gail Simone starts at 56. So there's like a small window.
Yeah, I think there's two writers do a couple of like little bits in there.
Yeah, so I'm not sure to what extent where these changes happen, but
she was clearly like around from more or less the beginning, right?
Oh yeah, she's in the universe, sure. Yeah.
I mean, even connected to the team in this context, like she's with these characters, and while she's not an official member of the team for a while, already, you know, they're like, okay, there's, you know, the idea that she's around.
I've only read maybe the first 12 issues of the main series. I don't remember her popping up in those, but it doesn't say she doesn't pop up in issue 15 for all I know. So, so I enjoyed this. The action looked really good. There's a lot of fun banter. I will say there's a couple of weird plot decisions. There's something weird about this issue, or this story, boiling down to this bad guy seduced Dinah, Huntress, and Selena. And they've all got like sort of like ex-revenge kind of like on their mind.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a bit weird. I think honestly the bigger problem for me was narratively when it got to the point where they were just explaining their turn with the guy.
Yeah.
I felt kind of grind to a halt.
See, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think I got what it was doing there. I got this feeling of, okay, it wants to be like you're watching a movie and you get these flashbacks and they start to become kind of funny how you hear these different versions of how this guy like kind of seduced them and broke their hearts. And my bigger thing was just how weirdly dated this was. Like, because I don't imagine Selena Kyle being like seduced and tricked, or even Huntress. Like, I mean, Dinah's weird enough because Dinah's such a strong character, but at least with her, because of her relationship with Ollie, I can kind of see how it might play out. But with Selena, the idea that she's like gets her heart broken like this by some sleazeball who she only knows for a few weeks or a month, I don't know. Like,
I mean, she does say at the end that it's not as mushy as their story, so because we don't hear her story yet, that'll be the next issue. So maybe Selena didn't get her heart broken. Maybe he just stole something from her and she's furious.
Okay. Well, Huntress then's kind of weird though, because I always just think of her as being angry. I can't imagine her falling in love like that and being all mushy and whatever. It's especially weird that this guy turns out to be like, because he is loosely connected to what happened in the first issue. Because they mentioned the country they were in that first one shot. A lot of what this guy does is like funneling things and all that. It was partly connected to that. So there is a through line there to kind of link it together. But you've basically got Black Canary like fighting her way up this skyscraper from the bottom. Huntress is climbing up from the outside. There's some joke stuff where like Oracle and Dinah are kind of confused as to why they've not sent in reinforcements, but it's because Huntress is fighting them all on the roof, or the penthouse. So there's some fun sort of shenanigans going there, and the action does generally look pretty good. It does establish, that Barbara is very strict on no killing, and Dinah feels the same way. She's just using the gun to,
she's like, okay, we're using the gun, just be responsible with it.
So no, it's nice that it establishes those things. I do like some of the character beats. Probably my favorite thing in this issue is when Oracle realizes that it's Huntress and she's like yelling over Dinah's ear saying, no, I've dealt with her before, we can't trust her. Huntress is a loose cannon, like you can't. And then that kind of pays off again at the end where Selena shows up and you see in the computer it says 95% voice match Catwoman, and Babs just puts her head in her hand and she's like, oh no.
not again. Yeah.
That was my favorite part of this issue. It was Babs reacting to who was getting involved, to various degrees. So, you know, I get what you're saying about the pacing. I think it could potentially work. Maybe not back to back. Maybe there's been a way to like spread these out so they weren't right after each other.
Maybe if you had Huntress tell hers and then they get interrupted and have another little bit of action and then we get the other one, that might have helped. I think it was because they were back to back. I felt it.
This was the moment. See, when I'm talking about it feeling weird for Huntress because it feels so like against her character, the part that really stuck out to me and made me feel that way is when she's literally waiting by the phone and then like days pass and she's like just upset because the phone's not rang. I can't see Huntress waiting by the phone for no man. All right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It is a bit weird.
You know, even I get looking at the flowers she got and like smelling at the card, I'm like, Huntress doesn't like flowers. She likes blades. Like she wants to do crossbow bolts.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt weird.
I guess she's just not fully formed right now.
Maybe what we think of as her is just not there yet. But yeah, and then the joke that they both recognized him in the security footage of this like robbery or whatever it is because of his ass.
Yeah, I actually really appreciated that subversion because about halfway through the issue, there's a page where Dinah's on her knees, and it doesn't actually show you anything of her ass. Like, you know, it's just the side of her leg, and I went, okay, they handled that all right. And then later on the same page, it does a similar thing with Huntress where you just see the edge, and I'm like, okay, they're not going overboard with this. And then when it gets to the guy for them recognizing it, it's just like, here you go. And I thought, okay, that actually felt like some visual setup for that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a funny little gag. I think it does hurt because people like to joke about recognizing people from their ass or from their boobs or from whatever, but honestly, you can't really do it. It's just kind of impossible.
the only way you'd really let this work is if it was Dick Grayson.
Yeah, because that's a running gag through all of 80 years of comics history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really been that long. I'm sure the ass jokes didn't start until he was Nightwing, but that's the point.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they started in I think it was Birds of Prey. Actually, it was Gail Simone with Nicola Scott.
Was it?
That famous ass shot was there, and that's kind of really where it started.
Okay, all right. So it felt kind of weird to me that we had to do a thing where they're all lovers scorned, essentially. Like, we've got this lady team up book, and like the idea here is to have them all be like mad at like an ex-boyfriend kind of thing. Like, even though he's not just that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I appreciate they weren't all quite as bad as Huntress. Like,
sure,
you know, Canary's like, similar story, but no heartbreak. I was just having fun.
Yeah.
And Catwoman maybe isn't quite the same at all. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's kind of like how in the Supergirl movie, like the plot had to come down to like fighting over a hunky dude. Like, I just having them all have to have a romantic past of some kind was just kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
But so not as enjoyable as that first issue that Dixon did, the one shot. But and here's the Catwoman outfit I like, actually. The end of this one, I mentioned how I liked the one that came after more. This is it.
No, I agree. This probably is better, but it doesn't have a green cape. This, if you give it a green cape, oh yes.
I'll let you the cape. This is probably my favorite Catwoman suit. I mean, I like the goggles one from the 2000s as well. I mean, I do like that one a lot.
Yeah, honestly, I think my favorite Catwoman suit is very similar to this. It's the animated series one, but it's just like this, but in grey.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
I really like that one.
Sure. I'm just laughing at the last page. Bab's just like face palming, saying, "Oh no," when she realizes it's Catwoman. So that part's pretty funny. I mean, it flows pretty well, barring the halt for the flashbacks. So we'll see if the issue 2 can take it to a better pacing, maybe, and because I do like the banter between the characters, which is good.
Yeah, they feel great together.
Yeah, they do. So even though this plot is maybe not the best plot idea that Birds of Prey is going to have, I'm sure we'll get to some better ones. But yeah, so what are you giving it?
I'm going to give this a straight 7. It could have been higher, but I'm taking it down for the pacing.
Yeah, I'll agree with a 7. Yeah, I mean, I have my problems with it, but it was still an enjoyable read for the most part. And art's solid enough, I think. Not as good as what we had on Flash, I think. Just to because they're both kind of a similar era.
I think this is a lot more expressive, and I appreciate that. But maybe the action isn't quite as interesting.